What was the dumbest reason someone brought you to court? So, I'm sitting in this courtroom wearing my grandfather's old blazer that smells like meatballs. And my neighbor's husband is pointing at me like I'm some kind of criminal mastermind. He's suing me for $25,000 because he claims my inherited parrot Canova deliberately seduced his wife and destroyed their marriage. I'm not making this up. My parrot is apparently a homewrecker. The whole thing started when my grandfather passed away 3 months ago. We were really close. He basically raised me after my parents died. Every Sunday, I'd visit his apartment above the old barbershop he used to run back in the 80s. Grandpa found Casanova abandoned in a cardboard box behind his shop in 1987, right around when my grandmother left him. That bird became his whole world. Casanova learned to talk from years of daytime TV and gossiping customers getting perms. The bird would whistle at everything. The coffee maker, the mailman, Judge Judy on TV. He'd whistle the theme from Jeopardy whenever I walked in. He'd squawk, "Looking good, sweetheart." The exact way Grandpa used to greet Grandma. When Grandpa died, I couldn't let Casanova go to some rescue. So, I brought him to my apartment. Set up his massive cage by the window where he could watch the street. I even played his favorite show Friends on my laptop. The bird was grieving, too. You know, everything went downhill when my neighbors Vincent and Gina were walking past my apartment window. Casanova was doing his usual routine, whistling at the plants, saying, "Hey there, hot stuff." Gina burst out laughing. She was doubled over, tears streaming down her face, telling Vincent, "Oh my God, that bird is so funny." Vincent's smile dropped immediately. He stepped toward my window with his fists clenched like he was about to swing at Casanova. A 45-year-old man squaring up to fight a parrot. Gina had to pull him back, still giggling, which only made it worse. From that moment, Vincent became convinced this was a personal attack. He started stalking my parrot. I'm talking full surveillance mode. He installed a Ring camera pointed at my window. Bought some kind of parrot repellent on eBay. Even hired what he called a bird behaviorist who turned out to be just some guy from Craigslist. Vincent tried everything to get Casanova removed. First, he complained to the landlord that the whistling was sexually inappropriate and he needs to get kicked out. Then he called animal control claiming Casanova was an exotic threat. Then he filed a sex offender report. When everything failed, he got a lawyer who kept calling Casanova the defendant's weapon of marital destruction. During the hearing, Vincent presented his evidence like he was prosecuting a mob boss. Spreadsheets of whistle timestamps, audio recordings of Casanova saying, "Hello, gorgeous," and "Shake it, baby." Phrases he'd learned from 40 years of daytime TV. His wife, Gina, looked mortified. She kept mouthing, "I'm sorry," at me while Vincent testified about that first incident, claiming I'd planted the bird when I saw them coming. When my turn came, I didn't have any fancy presentation. I just brought a cardboard box full of Grandpa's stuff and the truth. First, the DNA test Grandpa had done that proved Casanova was actually female. Her real name on the certificate was Patty, but Grandpa called her Casanova anyway because she already knew her name. Then I played a video compilation I'd made for Grandpa's funeral. It showed Casanova whistling at absolutely everything. A banana, the Weather Channel, a Roomba, her own food bowl, and a picture of Adam Sandler. I explained that Casanova had exactly 5 phrases she rotated through. All learned from 1980s barberhop TV. "Looking good, sweetheart." "Hey there, hot stuff." "Nice yams." "Shake it, baby." And inexplicably, that's what she said, which she picked up from me watching The Office during lockdown. The judge asked if Casanova showed any preference for whistling at women. I pointed out that yesterday she'd spent 20 minutes hitting on my Chipotle bowl. The courtroom started chuckling. Even the court reporter was trying not to smile. That's when Gina stood up. She looked right at Vincent and announced she wanted a divorce. Not because of Casanova, but because her husband had spent 3 months stalking a bird instead of going to marriage counseling like she'd asked. Vincent got even crazier. He actually lunged toward Casanova's cage, yelling, "You feathered home wrecker. You ruined everything." The bailiff had to step in. As he was holding Vincent back, Casanova tilted her head, looked right at him, and let out a long wolf whistle, followed by, "Hey there, hot stuff." "Nice yams." The timing was perfect. Vincent's eyes twitching with anger, while Casanova kept going, "Looking good, sweetheart." The entire courtroom exploded. The judge had to bang his gavel 3 times, but he was laughing, too. Gina was wheezing. The court reporter had to stop typing. Vincent just stood there being aggressively hit on by the parrot he tried to attack. The judge, wiping his eyes, said, "Sir, I think the bird has made her position clear. Case dismissed."